For more on that, let me bring in Michael Casey, who is Senior Advisor for the Digital Currency Initiative at MIT Media Lab. Thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome, Nancy.
Do you think this will be the year that institutions get on board more cryptocurrency products and services?
I think there is caution, but it depends on which sort of institutions you're talking about. I think the more aggressive investors, hedge funds, some private equity funds, others that are really sort of starting to push the edges here. Those guys, yeah, I think it's just inherently attractive, something as volatile as this. That's a different story than saying you're going to get invested in the technology and everything else underlying it. There's a play that people have on the volatility, and I think you've got certain hedge funds and obviously venture capitalists and others that are doing this. But big banks like UBS and others, I think, are necessarily going to move somewhat cautiously.
And when we talk about that technology underlying the cryptocurrencies, blockchain, of course, a big focus for the institutions. In your meetings here, especially with those Chinese companies right here in the country, what are they asking you? What are they interested when it comes to really integrating this technology? Right.
So I think there's a lot of interest in supply chain finance, supply chain management, because this is a huge trading part of the world, a lot of manufacturing firms here. So there's a lot of interest in how the blockchain or some other decentralized trust architecture can be valuable for the purposes of managing the flow of goods along supply chains, bringing finance into the supply chain environment. That's one area. IoT, Internet of Things, another area that is going to require some level of decentralized trust to transact between machines. A lot of interest in that sort of thing as well.
So if I'm an investor that says, I believe in this blockchain, I want to get invested, but I'm a bit nervous about the volatility in cryptocurrencies, is there a play to be made in investing in those firms that are employing blockchain technology, and where are they?
Right, and so I think, in terms of publicly listed companies, you have to look at some of the biggest players who aren't, obviously this is only a small portion of their business, but IBM and Microsoft, for example, are heavily invested in blockchain as a service and trying to build that out. And so for the long haul, I think those sorts of companies, if you believe this technology is going to be the underpinning of everything, that's somewhere to get exposure. I mean, there's a number of very good startups that obviously, don't have public listing status yet. They might at some point. That many of them do issue tokens, and so tokens may be the way to get exposure to the services that are being provided on top of this. Of course, with that comes the volatility and everything else that people are focused on.